I have so much to tell you about the games I love playing in the open world survival craft genre. But I feel like maybe it might be fun to tell you all how I got into horror gaming in general. So why don't we take a look back to the pre-2000s? Yeah, I know I'm old, but I really love video games as a medium. And since that's what my channel is going to be primarily focused on, why not start with the first video game I ever owned? Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
Haven't found it yet?
No, not yet, Brett. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate, but we lost contact.
Look, Chris!
Bravo Team's helicopter was a derelict. Save for the remaining body of Kevin. We continued our search for the other members, and it turned into a nightmare.
This way. Damn it! Make for that mansion!
There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Barry, and myself. We don't know where Chris is.
What is this place?
Not quite your ordinary house, that's for sure.
Hey, Wesker, where's Chris?
Jill, no. You don't want to go back out there.
But we've got to find...
What was that?
Chris?
No.
Jill, go and investigate.
I'm going with her. Chris and I go back a long way.
All right. You two go. I'll secure this area.
Stay sharp. A dining room.
Though, as you can probably tell, this is the remake of the first Resident Evil, which I'm so glad they got right.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
Barry!
What is it?
Look out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of it! What the hell is this thing?
I found Kenneth killed by this thing. Let's report this to Wesker.
Wesker! Jill, help me look for him. But let's not leave this hall.
Good idea. Barry.
Any luck, Jill?
No, nothing. What's going on around here? I can't figure it out.
Same here.
Chris, and now Wesker.
There's not much we can do. We can search for him separately. I'll investigate the dining room again.
Okay, then. I'll try the door on the other side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first floor.
Okay.
Oh! I almost forgot. It's a lockpick. You'd make better use of it.
Thanks. I may need it.
Listen, if something happens, let's meet up in this hall. Got it?
Okay.
This game largely influenced my curiosity of horror games. I was just 10 years old when it released, and the story on how I came across it may be foggy. But I think I remember enough to tell you that it was my father's friend that let me play it while him and my father worked on something. They thought it would be funny to give me the option of 3 games, and immediately I went for Resident Evil. I had been exposed to horror before this though, 2 years before I watched Nightmare on Elm Street, and they thought I was going to be frozen scared. From the moment I started playing, I didn't want to stop. The puzzles, the zombies, the dogs, and all the other monsters in the game were awesome. And I begged for that game for my birthday all through the year, until eventually I received a copy. Just a fresh, baby-faced DJ, engrossed in the story and atmosphere of what would become known as survival horror. And it was a rabbit hole that, to this day, I can almost always revisit with fond memories. So I figure, why not do a casual playthrough of it again, for the channel this time? So I can do more than tell you about my origins as a horror game enthusiast. And pardon me if the movement is very wonky. I went with tank controls in this playthrough, and it's been years since I've used them in a game. What are tank controls, I hear you ask? It means that when you move, the character doesn't follow the camera. Instead, it turns the character itself around depending on what direction your character is currently facing. Move the joystick to the right, and the character will turn to their right. This can be very tricky, and at the start you can probably tell that I've been spoiled by the alternative controls. But honestly, tank controls do have their own benefits. The game itself is heavily dependent on the atmosphere of the various places in the mansion and beyond, and as such uses fixed camera angles rather than the more traditional over-the-shoulder camera that most modern games use. This is important not because of what it shows, but what it doesn't show. The various monsters and zombies around the various places in the game normally hang off screen. But when they spot you, all you get is an audio cue to know what threat is in the room. It's true suspense if you don't know what you're facing when it's not the normal groan of a zombie or bark of a dog. Of course, the remake does have some differences, things to keep us on our toes through the playthrough, but we aren't there yet. So far there are just zombies and dogs. But down the line there are all sorts of creatures, and I can't wait to show you the grotesque beauty that is their design. For a child, some of the things in the game are truly terrifying. But on that note, I will be reading relevant dialogue. So if you have this up in the background, you can still follow the story and still hear my opinions on the monsters. The Book of Curses. The Four Masks. A mask that speaks no evil, A mask that smells no evil, a mask that sees no evil, a mask that cannot speak, smell, or see evil. When all 4 masks fall into place, evil will awaken. And it comes with the sword key, which is the first objective in the remake in order to open up more of the mansion. So we know we have to get the 4 masks and place them on the corresponding busts, thanks to the book. These masks are in a few familiar parts from the original PlayStation version, but that's not the first priority. Yeah, I could rush through and snag them, but in a casual game, I like to collect maps. And believe it or not, we have what we need to go ahead and get the second key, the armor key. Yeah, I know. I don't pick up the dog whistle. It's because I didn't have the inventory space, but I will be back for it. The lighter was the most important thing in this room. You know, it's kind of funny that even now, that window crack can put me on edge. I don't feel like becoming a Jill sandwich for real, and when I went in there, I quickly remembered that we have not fulfilled what we need to do in order to get the cutscene to trigger. Special instructions for the disposal of dead bodies. We have new information regarding these beings. They appear to be dead, but in fact are able to come back to life. However, there are ways to prevent them from becoming active again. Currently, there are 2 known methods to cease their resurrection: incineration and destruction of the head. If further methods are discovered, you will be notified immediately. Meanwhile, to those of you who still have the will to live, oil has been placed on the first floor of the mansion. Take as much as you need. You'll need something to light it with, which you'll need to find by yourself. So where we might not know why, we do know that it is important to burn the bodies. Apparently they can get back up. And while we ponder where she put it, we do have a map of the second story now. And with all the progress that we've made, we've also ensured that this safe room will always be safe to get to. Well, until something else comes up. A crumpled memo. Today, Sir Spencer told me to hide something where no one could find it. Well, I had this idea. I figured if I could somehow have it protected by a dangerous animal like a vicious canine that lives here, no one would be able to get near it. As far as I can tell, the mud is always hanging around the second floor balcony of the west side of the terrace. And he ought to come running at the sound of a dog whistle. This is where you come in. The thing is, I reckon you're the only person that can get near that damn dog without risking a serious mauling. Which means only you can put this collar on him. The object that Sir Spencer wants hidden is concealed inside. You're the only person I can trust with this. Of course you'll get something out of it as well. Remember that certain item that you wanted to get a hold of? Well, in exchange for your services, I just might be able to get it for you. Well, if it's important to Spencer, it must be important to our survival. But sadly, that's all the time I have for this episode. So we're going to go ahead and save and call it a day. Hey, you made it to the end. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know whenever I upload. And thank you so much for making it this far in the video. Keep it real.